guys, and welcome to another episode of StarCraft, where I go through the missions and tell you how to get the achievement. Today's mission is for aiur, and the achievements are going to be for aiur. Complete the mission. Shadow of the Colossus. Kill 120 units with the Colossi. In Living Kala. See what you did there. Lose fewer than 100 units on normal. Oh yes, and this is in the Legacy of the Void campaign. This is actually the first of the missions from the Legacy of the Void campaign, so it's kind of actually the tutorial. I know the first 3 videos I did from this campaign were the prologue videos, but I still count them as part of the Legacy of the Void campaign, because they all came out with that expansion. If you pre-ordered the expansion, you got the prologue videos early, but if you just went out and bought it, you still got the prologue videos, so that's why I consider them to be part of the Legacy of the Void campaign. Also, the other thing is about the Legacy of the Void campaign is it has 3 additional missions at the end of the mission, which is actually just a tie-up for the entire StarCraft 2 series storyline thus far. And the reason they don't consider that part of the Legacy Void campaign is because it goes through all 3 different factions, not just the Protoss. But again, I still consider it part of the Legacy of the Void campaign because you can't play it if you didn't buy the Legacy of the Void campaign. And also, if you didn't use those prologue missions or the end missions, the Legacy of the Void campaign is only 19 missions, whereas the Heart of the Swarm campaign is somewhere around 27, and the Terrans, I believe, is 25. So, if you don't put those missions with it, the Legacy of the Void campaign is very lacking on missions. But I digress, and back to the mission. Well, to the mission, I should say. This mission is really easy because it's technically the tutorial for the Protoss campaign, even though, like I said, if you've played the prologue, you're already 3 missions in, so this is technically the 4th mission, and now they're giving you a tutorial on how to play Protoss, but we won't get into that. So basically what this is saying is, it's just kind of letting you know what each individual unit feels like, even though it's kind of en masse, so it's kind of hard to get the individual feel for the units. Protoss veterans will know exactly what to do with an army like this. They'll be blinking their stalkers in. The immortals will be overcharged and stuff like that. The zealots will act as cannon fodder. But it's still easy enough and simple that new players to it will be able to go through it with pretty much no problem. And like I said, on normal, even with a beginner player, as long as you keep your army for the most part together, you should get all the achievements for this mission without really even trying. The achievements for this mission, like I said in the beginning, were kill 120 with the Colossi, which that should be easy because you're playing against Zerg, and the majority of the Zerg forces you're going to face are going to be Zerglings, which Colossi usually take out in one pass of their I-beam rays, whatever the heck you want to call them. So that's usually really simple. And then, as far as not losing 100 units, like I said, if you keep your units together in what a lot of people refer to as the death ball maneuver, which Protoss are very good at, you shouldn't lose more than like maybe 20 to 50 units. But definitely you won't lose that 100 like they say in the achievement. So But yeah, this mission is really simple. Like I said, it's supposed to be the tutorial for the campaign, but like I said, it's just kind of weird that it's technically the fourth mission in, because if you bought it early, you got the 3 prologue missions, and even if you didn't buy it early, you have 3 prologue missions, so... But the prologue missions pretty much guess that you already knew what you were doing, and they use the Protoss as of the forces you'd normally get in multiplayer at the time. So it was one of those, it's technically you have access to all the forces, but it's before the campaign, so you won't get any of the bonuses from your, like your general bonuses or your research bonuses. And the neat thing about this this campaign is, well, the Legacy of the Void campaign is, in the Terran campaign, you got what was the researches, and you didn't get any generals. In the Zerg campaign, you got both researches and generals. And in the Legacy of the Void campaign, you get generals every once in a while, and for the most part, you get research, plus you get later on you'll get the Spear of Adun, which is basically their main spaceship that they use in orbit above the planet. And it has a variety of abilities, from orbital nukes to it can drop pylons, it can drop reinforcements, it can do time stop on the entire battlefield, it can overshield your units. Let's see, at some point you'll get Phoenix, which is a general-like unit that you won't be able to control, but as long as you dump him in the middle of a big force, you won't have to worry about him, except for the fact he can't deal with aerial units. So if you just, send a couple Phoenixes with Phoenix, that's kind of weird, but if you send a couple of them with Phoenix to deal with the aerial units, he'll take care of whatever's on the ground, so you won't have to worry too much. Which, with Protoss, is a bit difficult, because a lot of Protoss is aerial units, even though you don't see that here, but a lot of times when you're playing against somebody, they choose to use a lot of aerial units as being Protoss, and it kind of plays into that rock, paper, scissors role I've talked about with StarCraft, because Protoss are both weak and strong to the Zerg. In the early game, they are very weak. So that, like I said, basically that rock, paper, scissors thing where the Protoss are weak to the Zerg are weak to the Terrans, and the Terrans are weak to the Protoss. That is all early game. If you go into late game, that circle kind of flips around, and it becomes the Zerg are weak to the Protoss are weak to the Terrans, and the Terrans are weak to the Zerg. Because basically, late game, the Zerg can just overwhelm the Terrans. But the Protoss, late game, a lot of their siege units, like the carriers and the Crescent Moon ship, I cannot remember the name of that ship, those are basic bread and butter siege units for the Protoss. Also, they have the Mothership, which is another flying vessel, and Void Raids, which, like I said, are probably one of the best flying unit that's not a siege unit. So, outside of your Crescent ship and Mothership, they're probably the best flying ship out there. So yeah, like I said, the rock, paper, scissors thing depends on what time it is in the game and what strategy you're going with. Because the Zerg are very weak to air because they don't have a lot of air defense. And majority of the good Protoss units are air units, so that's where that flip comes in, because the Zerglings either rush them or rush the Protoss early, or late game they die to the Protoss with the aerial stuff. Now, that's not saying that some players can turn that around, but that's generally what happens, so. No, now that I rambled through this entire mission, that's how to get the achievements in the mission, and if you liked it, give me a like, share, and a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.